And now the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, has announced a rise in power transmission capacity to 8,100 megawatts in 7 years. Spokesperson of the company, Ndidi Mba, yesterday said TCN's willing capacity had increased from about 500,000 or 5,000 rather in 2016 to 8,100 megawatts and growing through the diligent implementation of under the Nigerian Electricity Grid Maintenance, Expansion and Rehabilitation Program. Although the TCN now boasts of 8,100 megawatts willing capacity, and the generation companies can produce 7,600 megawatts, the highest electricity ever distributed on the grid is 5,801 megawatts in March 2021. And currently the grid values between 4,500 megawatts and 3,500 megawatts respectively. Well, under the Nigerian Electricity Grid Maintenance, Expansion and Rehabilitation Program, TCN imported over 40 power transformers in 2022, including the ones for 5 new substations in Abuja, rehabilitation of substations in Lagos, and new substations in Kano and Katsina State. Now let's assess the progress in power sector in the last 7 years and some burning issues bedeviling the sector. All right, we have our guest now, Barrister Umaru Aminu. Is a private legal practitioner and secretary to the NBA Benin Kebbi branch. He joins us virtually. Thank you for joining us, Barrister. We appreciate your time. Hello, Barrister. Can you? Yeah, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your time again. Okay. Yes, if you can hear me, talk to us. Before we delve into other burning issues ranging from electricity distribution with discos, practices, operations, and some other gray area in the sector. Let's look at, let's have your assessment of the power sector in the last 7 years under this administration. They said, TCN claimed that the power capacity has increased from 5,000 to 8,100 megawatts in about 7 years. Let's have your assessment. How does that impact on distribution and the value chain?
The issue of the generation of electricity in Nigeria, I think if we look back for the last 7 years, well, from what I can see from our own experience, at the downstream, the consumers and customers did not see much difference. I'm sorry to say. But however, anytime we keep up in the generation of electricity, it's a good news for the country. But we said we should leave the issue of distribution as we go further in this session. I think generation are doing good. I mean, if we can have improvement in the generation of electricity, it's a good news. But the issue and the main problem of our electricity system delivery in this country.
Okay. Okay, Barrister. I want you to talk to us on what do you think is the issue bedeviling the sector, the main issue, the main challenge, or the major challenge, that is affecting the Nigeria power sector?
For me, in my opinion, the major challenge is in the distribution. I don't think the privatization of the distribution companies, the discos, was not, we did not record remarkable success, which is intended whenever you privatize, because the story is different when you look at telecommunication. When the United was unbundled, you can complain on other things, but at least the service delivery is there to a large extent. We have seen a greater leap from when we have the country, we have a national provider, and when after the privatization in the telecommunication, you can see there is a great leap in progress. But in the electricity sector, the privatization and now the coming of the discourse have not made any much difference. Yes.
Okay.
And this owes to large extent to certain issues.
What do you suppose went wrong? Where did they get it wrong in the sector? Because if you compare, this, like you said, the same thing, the same privatization process, happened to the telecom sector. But why can't we record same successes recorded in the power sector, just as we had in the telecommunications sector? What went wrong, really? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay. Where I think we got it wrong is that where we got it wrong is in the electricity sector. The privatization was just, it's just symbolic. But still, millions and billions of taxpayer money is being synced into the discourse each and every day. The sector, though you have private shareholders, but even maintenance of the distribution lines, you find it is largely done by the state governments, the local governments, the politicians. Now a transformer will have a problem, and it will be for the politicians and the people of an area to try and buy just a common transformer. So what I'm saying, privatization is supposed to be like a winning. If a mother gives a birth, she will be tendering a baby to a certain extent before they will be off the, breastfeeding. They win them. But
so
if this cause are not win.
So quickly, just to pardon me to jump in quickly, where is the weakest link in this process of privatization? You remember, you have the DISCO, you have the GENCOs, you have the Transmission Company of Nigeria as well. So where is the weak link? Perhaps maybe when we find the weakest link, we can begin to address these issues.
The weakest link is the distribution. That is the weakest link. Okay. Because now, look at generation companies. They are generating electricity. And at times there would be deficit, which the government must pay. The distribution cannot even buy what they generate fully. When we come to transmission, yes, transmission, they are doing the transmission lines, the pylons and what have you, before electricity gets cut off on those lines is not as frequent. But when we come to distribution, that's where the issue is.
Perhaps you made that statement because of you just won a case with an electric distribution company in the north recently, which of course you won the case. What was the issue and what was the case before you won it? What was the issue like? Give us the experience.
Well,
the issue you had with the distribution company.
Yes, my case was against Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company, and the case was reported. It is there on the law pavilion electronic law reports. Once you said Kalgo versus Hussaini, the case will come up, and I may give the citation. It's LPER 47248, but just Kalgo and Hussaini will lead you. So what happened is about illegal disconnection. Illegal disconnection of electricity. And also, the rules about disconnection are very clear. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has a regulation which is called Connection and Disconnection Procedures for Electricity Services 2007. This regulation provides that before disconnecting any customer, they 3-month disconnection notice customer, and also that after that
Hello, 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 Barrister. Hello, Barrister. Well, I'm not sure if Barrister can hear me. We're losing connection within, but when we can establish... Okay, please go ahead, please, quickly.
Okay, so the disconnection...
Okay, so what, in a nutshell, you were disconnected, you took them to court, and...
they don't...
Okay, pardon me, just to be clear, you were disconnected, and you took them to court, and you won that case.
Yes.
Yeah, you took them to court, and you won that
yes.
case. So some people out there may not understand.
Yes.
Okay, so the question will now be, what are some of the things that unlawful practices that these discos, carry out, that Nigerians needs to be aware of? Because I know a lot of Nigerians have also, fell victim of this, and some of them have been disconnected, but they didn't even know that was illegal. So what are some of the gray areas, perhaps, according to law, what Nigerians needs to know with regards to their right to electricity?
Well, electricity is a utility, is a public basic service. So before disconnection, the law is saying that...
Well, I guess we're having a connection problem really with Umaru Cargo, who of course is trying to talk to us about his experience with the case he had with the Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company and how he won that case. Perhaps we'll be able to have you so that you can quickly wrap it up and what we should begin to do going forward to address the loophole in the system. If you can hear me, please quickly conclude on your thought. Can you hear me? Well, we're still having that issues with him of connection. But I think, of course, it's the issue that has been on ground in the system, conversations around illegal disconnection, and most time you see the staff of distribution companies, slugging it out with the consumers, and most time is an issue here. But we hope that these issues will be should be addressed going forward. Can you conclude now? Okay. I'm not sure if we can really continue to wait. We'll take a break now, and when we return, of course, Brent crude had risen 16 cents, about 0.2% to $82 per barrel in early trades, while US West Texas Intermediate crude rose by 13 cents. That's our focus next when we return from this break. We'll be back in a moment. Please stay with us.